Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Just get myself sorted.
Sorry.
Oh.
Okay, well, welcome to the February F&GP meeting. We'll move swiftly on to the agenda. So we have apologies for absence. Have everyone seen them? So we've got Councillor Truelove, Councillor Carney and Councillor
Yeah.
Mia.
Okay.
You-
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah. We propose them on block.
Yep. Okay. Moving on to 22-23, 153, disclosures of interest to receive declarations of interest from councils for items on the agenda.
22, 23, 159. Member of Friends of Myrtle Park. I may want to speak, but I won't vote.
Okay, thank you, John. Anybody else? No. To receive written requests for dispensations for disclosable pecuniary interest. Can't speak tonight. I'm assuming we haven't got any, Eve.
No.
No, thank you. So we'll move on to dispensation. So 22, 23, 154, the minutes of the previous meeting. Has anybody got any comments on the corrections for the minutes of the previous meeting?
Only that it said that I'd said that I didn't know anything about planning permission at the allotments. I didn't say that because I didn't know anything about planning permission for the allotments. So it must have been somebody else that said that there was no planning permission
Sorry?
for the tree work.
How does it say that?
Right at the beginning of allotments. It says Councillor Good said something, and then I think it's on. Well, I think it was on this agenda.
No, I'm not sure it is.
All right. Well, okay. I'll find it then.
Yeah, if you can.
Yeah.
There's a copy here if you want to look.
Oh well, I'll look if it's okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, here we are. It said it's right at the beginning. Councillor Good reported that he had attended a meeting at the allotments with a staff member last week, where plot 23 was currently awaiting response. No. I've read it anyway. Sorry. Okay. I forgot about it then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do I have
It
a proposer?
mentioned planning about trees. Okay.
Do I have a proposer?
Yep.
I'll second that.
Seconded. Proposed by Andrew, seconded by John. All in favour? Yep.
Absent.
One abstention because you were absent. Yep. Okay, thank you. 22, 23, 155 confidential items to be discussed after item 164. Is there anything anybody thinks wants to be moved? I don't think there is. No. So we'll move on to 22, 23, 156 public participation. Members of the public are invited, this is their opportunity to speak to the meeting on any topic relevant to the work of the council. However, they may not speak during the rest of the meeting unless specifically invited to do so by the chair. Okay, well, we do have some members of the public with us here tonight. Nice to see some people. Who would like to start? Would you like to start?
Mine's just a question. It's just really about the subdivision of the larger plots, and don't get me wrong, I'm all for it, but I was just wondering how you decide how you're going to subdivide them, and are you taking into account if they've got any buildings already on the bits?
Yeah.
And if so, is that reflected in the rental to the new people who are going to come to the allotments?
No. All plots will be the same price.
Yeah.
There will be, where they're going to be split, they'll be split subject to practicality. That's the best way to describe it to you. So if it isn't practical to make it into two or whatever, it won't happen or whatever, if there's a lot of buildings or a lot of trees or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's the way I see it anyway. Okay, yeah.
Right, thank you.
Do you have any concerns, or are you just interested?
Well, I was only just, mainly because where our plot is, the plot below us, which has already been subdivided into three, we met the couple, didn't we? Who, they didn't seem to have very much, but I have to say they were quite happy with that because he works full time and he thought it was enough to manage, which is good. But then the middle bit's going to have a small shed on it.
Yeah.
And then,
We're talking 12 now, down
Yes,
bottom.
down at the
Yeah,
bottom.
yeah.
And then of course the other side's got that massive building
Yeah.
on it, hasn't it? With quite a bit of land behind,
Yeah.
which I presume is a
Yeah, but I think
dwelling whatsoever.
that's a bit bigger, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
But I didn't know where
we haven't split
was
that.
going to be, and that's why I wondered how you could decide.
Yeah, well, that's going to be in 3, so I think they're all let now.
I think they are.
Yeah. But going forward, it would depend how, as I say, how practical it was. We've talked about this. Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
We're not getting out a ruler and going there.
No, well, no, you
and then
can't,
looking
no.
at it and going, that's halfway through a building or something.
No, it's,
So
just,
it,
it's sometimes when you do look at them when because obviously they've been established by somebody else, and you
They're
do
all-
wonder how much actual growing space somebody may have,
Yeah.
depending on what else is on the plot.
Yeah.
Right, thanks very
Yeah.
much.
Hi, yeah. I'm Richard Aldred. I'm also a plot holder on the Bet Lane allotments. I've just really come along tonight just to sort of support or add some content to the discussion that happened at the last meeting regarding the communal plot and whether it should be moved to a new site down at the bottom of the site, or whether it should remain where it is currently. And I've just really come along with to represent a questionnaire that one of our other plot holders conducted about a week and a half ago on our little WhatsApp group that we have. Not everybody's on it, it's about 24 members, I think, all plot holders, of which 11 or maybe 12 responded to a number of questions that she just created on Google. And it was broadly about the amenity of having a communal area. What were the thoughts on, or what were people's thoughts on having one?
Yeah.
And also then it went on to ask a question about, would you be in favour of it being moved, or would you prefer it to stay where it is? So I won't go into all the details because there's quite a bit of detail here, but broadly the results came back almost unanimously that everybody wanted to maintain a communal plot of some sort. It was
Right,
very
okay.
important.
Yeah.
But also, interestingly, of the 11 that replied, the majority, i.e. 10, were in favour of it staying where it was.
Right.
Only one person was actually in favour of it moving to the new site. But these results are all sort of itemised in this. So can I leave this?
I was going to ask if I could have it, please. Yes,
I'll
yeah.
leave a copy of
You
that
can I
with
comment
you
on
to
that?
evening, and it's all the details in there. So I think it might be quite useful just to
That's very useful.
add to the
Control
add to the
meeting if we start
discussion before
looking.
you make a decision
We're
one
not-
way or the
we're-
other on that.
As I understand it, we won't be making any decision at all tonight regarding that. The reason being that we have had some correspondence, and we feel that we should consult the plot holders, so that we aren't accused of not taking their views into consideration.
I think that'd be very welcome. One of the a couple of the points on there is that the plot holders would be very happy to answer a questionnaire of the council.
Yeah.
You know, devising.
So
on
you
this
agree with
topic.
that? Yeah.
And also to do with plot size, well, if you wanted some more information on that, which plot holders may be happy to relinquish parts of their plots. I think if that was in the form of a questionnaire from the council, we'd be more than happy to help you on that.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I have to say that's interesting, because we've not thought about people relinquishing parts of their plots.
No.
Our view of plot resizing has always been, as a plot becomes vacant, that's an appropriate.
Well, just
Jump-
in discussions,
juncture for us
just
to-
informal discussions, it might be that one or two people, plot holders may be, of that sort of leaning if asked. So it might be just worth asking the questions in a formal questionnaire.
Okay. Thank you.
Was it asked in the questionnaire exactly how many times the communal plot is actually used?
Yes.
Another question. I'm glad you asked that question. I'm glad you asked that question.
Yes.
And what's the answer to that? Because I'm not aware that it's used at
One
all.
of the questions in there, it does relate to that, and I think it's how many times has individual people used it, and it's sort of graded in once, twice, 3 or 4
Right, okay.
times. So the maximum is 5 times.
Right. Okay.
Can I just say something on that as well?
Yes, Chair. Yeah.
I know you're not making any decisions, but something perhaps to bear in mind when you do come to make a decision about whether the communal plot gets moved or not.
Mhm.
Is then will there be any help or potential help from the council to help sort where you're thinking of putting the new communal plot, because it's absolutely awful. As in, digging it over and clearing it. Or are you expecting the allotment holders
No,
to do?
I wouldn't have thought. I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have thought that if we moved the plot, that we wouldn't make some provision for that plot,
Yeah.
as in Bingley Town Council. That's my. I keep answering these questions. When I say that, I'm an individual councillor who's been involved with the allotments from day one. It isn't a job that I like. I dislike it immensely because it is so controversial and so. Some things that come up are just so manipulative and there we are. But I am answering, and that's the way I see it. If it was moved to where we were originally, where I originally suggested, it'd be made usable. In my view.
It is an awful.
I wouldn't expect. Well, going by the last meeting, there's no way the plot holders are gonna do anything, because it was made perfectly clear to us that if we had the audacity to move it, we're taking our bats home. So that's where we are on that one.
But I mean, I would just say the uses of plot 23 are one of the agenda items, and you will say, you notice it says including consideration of additional work required. So I don't think, as it stands today, it's in a state where we could let any of it to anybody.
No, not at all.
But,
No.
so are you? Yep.
Just
Right.
Yeah.
I'll stand up if you don't mind.
Yes,
Yeah,
right,
sure.
Ray.
I've got Jennifer can't be with us, I'm afraid, because she's not very well. But she gave me some observations, which I'll just read, really, about organisation more than anything else. I'll be as quick as I can. I'm sure the councillors who served on this committee prior to COVID remember with some nostalgia the days when allotment business was only scheduled to be heard on 3 or 4 occasions in the year, carefully avoiding the busy evenings dealing with grant applications. Occasionally a single item would need dealing with out of this rota, but that was unusual, and this practice freed up the F&GP meetings very well. Laura Jowett and I, as site rep, had a booked telephone call fortnightly, whenever possible, and this meant that she could clear up many minor items, as I could report back if tasks had been completed by both tenants and contractors, or if situations had worsened. More importantly, this practice facilitated a quick response to health and safety items. To complement these calls were quarterly meetings of the allotment team, Laura, 2 councillors and myself, and the aim of these meetings was to go over bigger issues, e.g. reviewing the allotment policy, ready to bring to the F&GP. These also help keep the tenants in the loop. In the last 2 years there have been no booked telephone calls, no allotment team meeting for a year, and with no rigorous system for follow-up on issues, some can and do fall through the floorboards. When these might be health and safety issues, this is worrying and does not set a good example to tenants. This means that the F&GP meetings are the only ones to which I can bring issues for discussion, and as they are a public meeting, this makes confidentiality impossible. While we appreciate it's the gift of the chair to invite us to speak, and we appreciate it when it happens, it must be said that the current situation of minimal day-to-day communication on site matters results in us coming to meetings unaware of what is likely to be tabled as part of an issue, assuming it's on the agenda. The issue here is not that we don't appreciate being allowed to speak in the meeting, but that matters which are clearly going to be contentious are brought without clear definition in the agenda, leaving us totally dependent on your goodwill. So that's Jennifer's comment.
Okay, fine.
Okay. Can I just address some of that? I think it's important to get across that yes, these are meetings, the allotment policy has always said that anyone who has any issues should be raising them back to us at the council as soon as they arise. Now that there's not a specific allotments officer, it should all go through the inquiry so it can get addressed. I would be horrified if health and safety issues were just sitting there rather than being reported back to us so they can be addressed. But I think it's incumbent upon all the plot holders, if they do see something, to bring it to our attention.
Yeah.
I'll just say that on that one.
That's fair enough. Yeah, there was certainly an issue during the course of last year which did not get addressed, and it's now, because of the weather, disappeared. But it no doubt will come up again if necessary. Okay.
Okay,
Sorry,
I'm not sure
sorry.
what you're alluding to, but
I'm alluding to trees and plants growing across the path and creating hazards at eye level for people walking down the path,
All right.
all right,
which were
okay.
previously reported and not addressed until some considerable time after.
Have they been addressed now?
Sorry?
Have they been addressed now?
Yes, they were addressed when the path was done,
Oh, that's good. All right.
but
Okay.
not when they were first raised, which was many weeks before.
So what was the difference between the issue being raised and it being addressed? What was that gap approximately?
4 to 6 weeks, probably a bit longer.
Okay.
Off the top of my head.
Is it possible to police this?
Was the obstruction plant, can I ask?
Sorry?
Was it plant material that was obstructing
I
the
think it
path?
was a tree branch.
Or a
wasn't
tree
it?
branch?
No, it was. We're going to get into difficulty. It was a tenant's plants growing up and and growing over the path, and coming
Right.
across with sharp spiky growth at eye level.
Right.
Okay. On a path that is used by at least 2 people who already have sight difficulties. So that's why it was raised originally.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
Fine.
so
Okay.
that's
That's fine. Okay.
that was part of the background to that.
Right. Good.
The other issue, Jennifer has included some photographs, which I don't know whether they're any relevance to anybody who's not actually seen the allotment. I know, of course, I'm not sure gentlemen have, but that's the tree cover that we're talking about when you get to 23, and it's the community plot as it currently was last year.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
if they help clarify anything, they're very welcome.
Right. Thank you.
Okay.
And
That's Jennifer's comment.
and
So
your- your
have we got
comments?
time for me
Yeah,
to quickly
sure.
read mine? Okay. Right. I note that under item allotments, the second topic is consideration of potential uses of plot 23, including consideration of additional work required. Could I express the hope that the additional work includes the work on the trees in the annex on the southwestern edge of the plot, for which planning approval already exists? Having looked at the tree heights, I estimate this will reduce the angle of the remaining tree tops from the middle of the plot, in other words standing in the middle of the plot looking up at them, from about 7 to 75 degrees, which is fairly clear in those photographs I think, which prevents any sun reaching the plot, to about 40 to 45 degrees. This would give them 5 hours of sunshine on the middle of the plot for May, June and July, and about 6 hours for the northerly half of the plot. I've been doing some trigonometry.
Well done.
This should be suitable for bees and is fine for many fruit bushes and cordons, etc. This would give the potential for 2 plots at the northern end of plot 23 and a space typically for comfrey in the more shaded southern end. Not to mention plot 22 would also benefit from the additional light and some on 21 as well. So worth considering.
Right.
That's what I have to say.
Okay, thank you,
Okay.
Ron.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you.
So if we move on then to allotments themselves, so 22, 23, 157, allotments to receive an update on allotments and to agree any actions. So first off, update on clearing of plot 27 and future splitting and letting.
Well, as we all know, we seem to be making some progress with this one. There's a digger booked to come in the next fortnight, which will fill in the pond, which seems to be of some concern. It's about 4 foot deep. And the bricks and various other things are going to be removed by a grab. So that will be the end of the skips. So this particular area should be levelled off and ready for subdivision in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
That'd be great.
Excellent.
Good. So, potential uses of plot 23, including consideration of additional work. John, have you had any
No,
B?
no,
No.
we haven't been to look at it in the light of what's happened in between, as in correspondence, etc., and consultation between ourselves. We feel, when I can think of his name,
Andrew.
Andrew.
Andrew and I haven't been to look yet. Okay, so that hasn't been covered. Suggestions of further information. Oh no, right. So that's potential use of plot 23. So we can move on from that. The next one is 2B, which is the communal plot we've just discussed, and that's
We think we're going to consult.
going forward. Yeah,
Going forward on that
letting
one.
and splitting sort 7A. I haven't done anything about that as yet, so that to be vacated. So we'll need to go have a look at that. Request from local brownies. I don't know. We finished up with that.
What?
Brown. Well,
Request from Brown, because we've had a request from the Brownies.
no, I said we had a request from brownies.
Brownies.
I said, do we make that decision here? What we're doing?
My
about
only
that?
concern, John, is how many brownies there are, because it doesn't say, and who's actually going to look after them, for
Well,
a better
well-
word, or supervise.
Well, the lady who's done it will be doing it because she's doing a badge with them, isn't she? So I don't know how many.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the legal implications of having a pack of brownies marauding around the allotments. I think, from our perspective, it's quite difficult to agree without having a full risk assessment, knowing how many people are there to supervise them, having permission from adjacent plot holders, just because there will be, if there is any overspill, because I know they've asked us for permission, but I would think all the other plot holders in the vicinity would also need to give permission, because it's your tenancies, and it's not set up to be a community space, really.
Yeah, given that issues have been raised about stuff going across pathways, and that potentially causing issues, just because that isn't an issue right now, nothing things can grow, can't they? So if something grows across there, then we need to use your collective now and a pack of brownies, just end up tripping and falling into.
I think that's what they're called, isn't it?
Pack.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Marauding.
So yeah, it's unfortunate to have to be cynical, but because the world's so litigious these days, on the one hand, and on the other hand, they are children, so them falling over is not a good thing. I think we need to be cautious.
I do think
That's why I mentioned supervision.
I'm not.
What time frame was this sort of hopefully
half term.
They were talking about doing it after.
through the day, presumably, rather
Yeah.
than
Yeah, I would think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should,
School holidays, basically. So I think
should-
I think at the moment our response needs to be that, unfortunately, it's
oh right, okay.
It's a no.
Well, that's
That's not
sort
the
of.
right misery doing that, but I think you're probably right.
Could we not ask numbers and supervision?
That's what I was just gonna. That's gonna
With the weather
suggest.
having been inclement, it is quite muddy in areas up at the allotment, so you've got a health and safety issue there to start with. So
After 6 weeks.
maybe sometime later in the year might be, sort of.
Well, they were talking about half term, then the next half term. So as if
Not next week, because it's next week.
no,
it's next week.
Well, it mentioned 5 or 6 week gaps between, and they haven't had permission yet. So
So it would probably be
I-
half term Easter, half term, possibly a
Spring
bit of summer
event would probably
holidays.
be the best first time to sort of even
yeah,
consider it.
I think we need to go back and get more information.
yeah, I agree with that.
Around
agree.
numbers,
Yeah.
supervision.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but it may be that the Brownies, the organisation, has liability for things like that.
Yeah,
Their
possibly.
own liability.
Yeah,
If they're going to take them out,
I think they.
on
will-
trips.
I think they will have. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know how it means when they take them onto someone else's effectively private
but
property.
Maybe these are questions that need to be asked.
They
yeah,
are.
yeah. So we're gonna look into that a bit deeper.
We'll
Then.
request further info.
Well, let's say that is indeed the case. Let's say we go for Spring Bank. Let's say it rains just beforehand. All the kids are fine, but I know that according to some of the emails I've received, that there are some older members of the public who do own allotments. So I'd be concerned that if the kids go on there and they mess up the path and they make it muddy, and I know for a fact, because I was a football manager a long time ago, that if it's muddy and you go on it, the next time you try and go on it, there's even less grip than before.
Can I just ask, what's the intention of the activities that they're hoping
They're just going to just want a garden. They want to get. They're working for a gardening badge. That's all. So I would imagine they're going to plant a few seeds or draw a few plants and pass the test and end off. And I personally support 100%. I think all this stuff is that needs covering. But let's face it, it's health and safety is out off the scale in some cases. But anyway, that's all my controversial
They
view.
might be able to facilitate this in the Prince of Wales Park.
It's just that they probably have a plot, you see, though. They want to do it on their plot. So anyway, I don't know. Shall we just...
Child labour. Well, yeah, that's the other thing we probably should be wary of.
No, shall we say...
Can
I suggest...
I'm going to let Robert have a word.
Yes, I'm going to show my ignorance here after all these years of this council. And I always assumed there was a proper allotment association.
No,
And
never has been.
But it's always been a conversation at these meetings as though we are frankly mainly the organisers and deciding on things. Have we ever had some formal document come from the allotment association giving their views?
Well, you got one today. Well, no, you got one today, didn't you?
Well, there isn't a formal allotment association. We just do have a site representative, and then the rest of us are all independent tenants. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Which again, I think is one of the things that, as part of our general consultation, whether what we've currently got is working and whether there's a better way to ensure that there is a free flow of communication between all parties needs to be looked at and addressed.
I think the allotments policy specifies that the site representative is there to forward tenants' opinions and things to the council.
It does say that, but whether that's actually what's happening is opaque to us, I suppose.
Well, I think that's the difficulty Jennifer was trying to get across, the fact that the routine conversations haven't been happening.
Okay.
From sort of me chatting, what I've sort of come up with from chatting to other plot holders is that most plot holders would welcome at least one meeting on site with one or two councillors annually, just to discuss sort of matters arising. Really, the one we had sort of last year, I think it was useful. So I think one of those, if that could be sort of a minuted thing, and going forward, it could be arranged that at some point in the year that was an annual happening. Then that would be good.
Okay.
We have discussed that among ourselves going forward, Richard.
Don't get me wrong, I do like the informality that we have and in people coming to meetings and talking to us. I'm not looking for heavy structures.
No. There just is no association at the allotment. It is just the site rep and individual tenants, and there is a question as to how much of whether our communications get out appropriately and whether the stuff gets fed back appropriately. I think that we need to look at and address.
And we're letting plot 2 now.
We are going on to plot 2, Stanley Street.
Okay. I haven't been since for about 4 weeks. Last time, in fact, the weekend.
Is it actually vacant?
It's up to us whether it's vacant or not, as far as I remember. What's the situation, Eve? Do you know? Has it been vacant? Have we okayed the lady to leave?
No, the last correspondence about it before Ruth left her post was that there were some things still to be moved, but we need to go and have a look.
Yeah, I'll go have another look. There's a bit of scrap there that can go. I mean, scrapmen will take that. That's not a lot of problem. And then I'd be probably suggesting get it let, and if there is some other things to move, let the new tenants decide what they wanted to keep, because there's no water on that site and there's a lot of water butts there. So they probably want to keep a lot of those.
Might do, yeah.
Yeah. So that's where we are with that, and then the final one is update on the allotment policy. Well, we're looking at that at the moment, and we'll be next meeting.
So we're looking at the
passing that.
allotment policy. I think there's probably going to be a few things in here that we want to come out and consult with people about. There have been a couple of things that have been raised to us during the year for things to look at, one of which is joint tenancies and shared tenancies, and I think our current view is that we just move to single tenancies, but again we'll come out and consult on that and any other major changes in the policy. Just because there are a number of allotment holders here, one of the things we're keen to see is much less plastic. As it's plastic free Ringley, there is an awful lot of plastic up there and around, and there are alternatives available these days for some things. Appreciate that not everything can be done plastic free, but go on, I'll let you.
If we're just with the fact, what do you mean by a joint tenancy? Excuse my ignorance.
Well, at the moment, as written in the allotment policy, so it's joint tenancies are restricted to married people and people in civil partnerships.
Yes.
Yeah. So that if one person dies, the tenancy moves to the other person. We've also got a shared tenancy where the main tenant is completely liable for everything, and the shared tenant can take the allotment on if they give up. So we've had some comments to us that given the modern world, you know, for most people, marriage is not necessarily where most people go these days. So was there something we could do to allow partnered people to have some equality? And it may be that the equality is everybody has a single tenancy, because then it's very easy to manage.
Make it easy.
But when you say a single tenancy, so in the case of a couple living together, which,
One of you will be the tenant.
yeah, but does that preclude the other person going on to the allotment and working on it?
No.
In much ways, anyone could come on your allotment
Yes,
now and work on it.
Right.
It would just be that there is the one legal tenant,
Yes.
and
I think it's
should that person die, then
That-
the allotment would effectively come back.
That's mean there's no guarantee
Yeah.
we're going to the spouse or
No.
partner or
No.
whatever,
No.
whoever.
no.
It's another one of those things where equality actually means
Yeah.
the equality is a lowering rather than a hiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, it's one of the things that I think where we're going to end up with, and what we want to come out and consult around. Okay, I think that's it for allotments. All right.
Very much. Sorry, Philip. It's my poor hearing, I'm sure. Could you just explain to me where we stand with 2B now? Because I wasn't quite sure what happened at that point in the discussion.
2B, we said we'd consult on it.
You're going to consult on it?
We're going to consult on it.
Okay.
So we will do a round of consultation that will include 2B and changes to the allotment policy and communications. I think they're the three headline areas at the moment that people want to see addressed as the word. Okay.
Thank you.
So if you folks would like to stay, you are more than welcome. If you would choose to.
Robert.
Thank you.
You've got stuff under your seat.
Just press that looks like a light switch.
Oh, yeah.
I'm dropping all my stuff, aren't I?
Okay, so if we move on swiftly to 22-23-158 bank reconciliations, to consider and approve the bank reconciliations for January.
Seem all right, don't they?
Anybody got any
No, I don't think so.
queries?
No.
Proposed by Lewis, seconded by John, all in favour? Yeah. To approve the bank statements for January?
Yeah.
Same again, all in favour? And to note the
There
bank...
isn't a right lot left in there, is there?
No.
There's-
But we'll come on to that in
Yeah,
just a
there's not-
second.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
To note the bank balances,
yeah.
So the bank, Unity Bank balance as from today is 47,742.33 because the 20,000 from changing places has gone in.
Oh, is it? All right, okay. Right, well, that changes things, doesn't it?
Myself and Nicola have been monitoring it really closely.
Oh, no, oh, well, that's a positive. That's a positive.
I had a conversation this afternoon going, we can't do any of this, we've got no money.
Yeah.
So I think we're in a reasonably healthy
Fine.
position.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've got the 143,000 in the public sector deposit.
Oh, yeah. That's what I meant. I said, shift it over, yeah.
Okay, 22-23 159 grants to consider the following large grant applications. Before we get into this, whilst we do have money in the bank, the grant budget for this year was £12,000
Yeah.
and it's got £1,600 left in it.
Is that it?
Yep.
Oh, right, there you are. Well,
I've got a plan for that.
So we've got 2 grant applications here, both of which are beyond that sum. We have a choice of what we want to do. I think having got the changing places money in, fiscally we could be bad, or we could.
or we could be sensible and
Or
do it.
No, that's what I mean. Fiscally we could be bad and do it, or we could do one or the other, or we could defer one or the other until April. I think they're things we need to consider.
Once again, I suspect we've already got the details of a breakdown of what the cost, rather than just giving us a figure.
Yeah. There's 3 quotes and all that. Yeah, and well, not from that. Yeah.
So the first one, which is Friends of Myrtle Park, which is 20 chairs.
Yeah. You see that I'm not favouring. I'm not favouring Myrtle Park. I'm just saying what I've read about the cricket club. They're wanting that amount, and I'd be happy to give them that amount. I'd be able to give them 3,000 if they want. But at the moment, it's part of a pot, isn't it? They're looking to get what do you call it, crowdfunding or something like that. So just on this is probably practical terms. Could defer that till April, and then or we could, I say, via some money from somewhere else. There's plenty. I'd do it now, mate. But
I agree with John on both counts. I'd do it now, but at the same time, if they're wanting to crowdfund it, surely we make sense as the top up rather than the starting point.
I think that's what they want us to do, which is why they've said a vague range, because they don't know. So we could ask them to come back in April.
I think that'd be probably the most practical, wouldn't it?
I would just say for the Friends of Myrtle Park, though, I would like to see them not just come to us for, we want all the money for this all the time. They do seem to have had a fair amount of grant money for us. I'm a little disappointed that in their application where they say all these people have used our facility and yet they're showing 15 quid income for the hub.
Yeah, well, that's because they let them.
They let them have it for nothing, yeah.
They let them do it free of charge, yeah. And I think they think that they're using the facility.
As the member of the public who was responsible for the exploding chair,
There you go.
I was the one. So I went in there.
Said it on this, Lewis.
I was in there with my niece for story time, and this is the day after I broke a chair at my uncle's, so her dad's barbecue.
It's something to do with Lewis, is this?
It is. I sat down.
I think you should pay for the chair.
I sat down, and it isn't like one of the chairs went. It just went. It just completely disintegrated after I'd sat in it for 2 minutes, and my niece and nephew, who happened to walk past exactly that time, never laughed so much. So I cannot not support this because I'm the reason why they're applying for it.
Yeah. Well, we just need to. Somebody just needs to propose something, don't they? And then we'll decide what we're going to do. I think that'd be.
What was yours
Let's. I'll ask the question.
I don't think the cricket club, if we give them the money, will spend it tomorrow.
That's what I was thinking.
I think they can wait. I think they could wait till April. I don't see that they're in the position to start spending.
If we're doing it individually, I would agree with that one.
And just, I would like to see, as I think I've said this numerous times, we seem to always give grants to the same people, which is fine because those people come to us for money and other people don't necessarily do so. But I would like to see us spread our wings a bit on who gets some of our largest.
So would I, but where we've got an active group that is forward thinking, ambitious, looking to put on events, etc., etc. And
I get all that.
we what £600 in bank or something like that, and which isn't a lot of money to put any events on. I think
I'm just wondering whether Friends of Myrtle Park is actually really a branch of Bingley Town Council.
I think that it's fair enough that they keep asking because, as you say, we don't have a diverse range of people asking, so more for the other people that aren't trying to take advantage, and good on them for getting in. I do agree with you that it would be nice to have a broader range, but the reality is that we don't, and we've got the funds, and it's our community.
There's only so many groups within the parish, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
There is, but there's far more than come to us.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So what was your proposal?
Well, I think the proposal seems to be. Well, it's almost, do we do them in reverse order? Given the amount of money in the budget, do we think we should defer B to the next financial year? But in principle, we're happy to give them the money.
Yeah, I think that's
the I'll go with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to propose that? If you propose that. Yeah, I'll second that.
I'll let you do that then. Right, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah, so we're all in favour of that.
So we're all in favour of that.
What's the next one?
So then the next one is, as the Myrtle Park one is only slightly over budget, about £100 over budget, do we think we should give them that grant? Proposed by Lewis.
Like you're seconding it. I'm not voting.
Oh, you tease! You tease, Robert!
So now we've got
Was
2-2.
that an official seconder?
Okay, I'll second it.
You're seconding it?
It's just that you put your hand up when
Yeah. It's all in favour.
Well, no, if everyone wants to,
Yeah, I'll go with it then.
To have the money.
If Lewis wants it. See me broke it.
Yeah.
No, it'd be a good thing. As I say, action stations use it, and I think the problem is, well, it's not a problem. They should be pushing more to get a few more members when these people come in. They're getting.
Yeah,
they're open. They're pretty dedicated. They open it every 2 hours every Sunday. Even
They're a great group.
At this time of the year.
Yeah, no, yeah. I get that. It's just.
Anyway, it's past now.
I would like to see us.
It's too late now. It's too late now. It's past.
I would like to see them spread our wings, and for them to, in future, be putting something in themselves. I know they do a lot,
Yeah. Well,
They always come with, can you give us all the money?
we got to raise it. Yeah, that's what I'd do. I can promote.
Fine with them, I'd keep doing that until we
So
say
would
no.
I.
Until
So
we
would
say
I.
no, yeah.
Yeah, I keep telling them to.
Well, take this as a warning then. A no might be coming.
But probably won't.
No.
Then moving on to 22, 23, 160, green and clean.
Oh,
So
green
we're
and
gonna
clean.
update Green and clean.
I think I made a couple of notes, believe it or not. Wait a minute.
Ooh.
I'm improving. Okay. So, we had a green and clean forum, which was, we felt by our accompanying staff, which were unbelievable. Didn't get a tremendous amount of people, but about eight groups were, local groups were represented. Hey, pardon?
About a dozen.
Yeah, so quite a few apologised. One woman, who want to come to future ones. We're looking to do another one, subject to availability of speakers. Provisional date was 29th of April, Debbie?
Yeah.
April. And that'll be again at Cardigan House. There again, subject to availability. Had a little pick on Saturday. 5 people turned up, but they were there again. It wasn't quantity, it was quality. Got 10 full bags of rubbish. Don't know where they got.
Just on the 29th of April, just whilst it's in my head.
Yeah.
As that is just before the elections, is that appropriate? Eve? I mean, it is an ongoing activity that we do, but could it be seen as?
I don't think so. No, I don't think it. Well, there's only John that's there as a councillor, and he's not there to promote himself as a councillor.
I definitely are. No.
But if there's only John there, that might. I don't want to put him in a.
No, we had another
You're
councillor.
right.
We had another councillor last
Yeah, but
week.
if
Dale came.
Green and clean is you and yours, so.
No, and it wants to be more than me.
I don't disagree,
I can ask the question.
but it just.
Yeah, do. Yeah. Just
I'm just wondering
get.
if it'd be better the week after, because then there's absolutely.
Well,
no...
as you see, there we go. You see, now the week after, then I can't go.
All right. Okay.
And then we could do it the week after that, but the week after that
Yeah, okay.
I can't go again.
all right.
And a number of the people that came to the last one are part of that group, so we'll see.
I'm trying to protect you.
Protect me. Yes. I need all the protection I can get, I'll tell you. Another thing, as I say, we were in Clyde Street, Whitley Street. We don't see any litter. There's no litter. Where they got 10 bags from, it's up to them. But what I would like to say is, and I asked Debbie after the litter pick to thank people, and also to make a special note to thank the Green and Clean champions, because on last fortnight since I got a telephone call, and a chap there wants to do it on his own, and he wants to do from sort of Acorn up to Dick Hudson's, and then the path back, off piste stuff. That's great. A lady in Cottingley who I ran into one green in Cottingley the other day, and I said, "Oh, you're the litter picker. You're doing a great job." She said, "Yeah, you gave me a litter picker." So she's a green and clean champion. And then we got out of the 5 people that came on Saturday, lady. New person came, filled the form in, and there's a question to put her email address, and do you want to be a green and clean champion? She put a question mark, so I filled in the question mark by telling her what the score was. She said, "I'll have some of that," and she's signed up, and she'll get a litter picking stuff tomorrow. So
Good.
I think that round Bingley we're doing a good job as regards sorting litter out, apart from of course the ambassador that's doing around the town centre. That sort of covers it, I think. The Let's Litter picks on the. I even have a diary now. Is it 11th? It's here we are, 11th of March, Saturday the 11th of March. Okay.
Can I take you back to A? Do we need to It says
What were
to
they?
approve the purchase of a projector.
All right. Well, I haven't seen that. Oh, sorry. When I say I haven't seen that, I've got my agenda. Right. At the Green and Clean Forum, we borrowed Mark brought a projector,
Yeah.
and basically it wasn't fit for purpose.
We didn't use that one actually. We used the one that was in there, didn't we? Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Anyway, it wasn't fit for purpose, was it?
It was too bright in the room. Even with curtains shut and the sun was shining through,
Yeah.
it was too bright.
Right. So, but the thing about it was that I thought that also at the town meeting last year, friends of
Friends of Myrtle Park. Yeah.
Well, it's cost an active group. Friends of Myrtle Park would have liked to have done a presentation and were not able to do so because they didn't have a projector. I think it's something. It's on this agenda, but I think it's something we look into. But as a group, should we be thinking of investing in one for Bingley Town Council for future events such as Green and Clean Forum and stuff?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So
In principle, yes.
The thing is that I don't understand them. I've made a few inquiries and I still don't sort of understand qualities. I mean, I talked to a chap this morning who's as a part of a video club, and that cost them $6,000. You know, I mean, it's
like everything, isn't it? Yeah, you can spend as much as you want.
So I think we need to find somebody or talk to somebody who is more up on it, and then look into it. Have you got some any ideas? No. No. Well, it's just I thought when you said that.
I could look into it. I'm sure Debbie could look into it. I mean, for our purposes, we don't need a top of the range.
No, I didn't say that. No,
I know you didn't say that.
And apparently, it's something to do with the light, the power of the bulb.
The lumens of the bulb.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So, are you going to propose that in principle we're looking at purchasing one for the use of Bingley Town Council?
I'll second.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be good. You know, because we'd have it ourselves, wouldn't we?
We would.
And in that case, what about? And Richard suggested it. What about some blackout curtains to put over things if we had it at Cardigan House? Because you could just fit them over the top. You know, get some black material.
But we'd only use that once a year, really.
No, you will.
We're
looking at 2 or 3. We're looking at 2 or 3 a year.
That might be a step too far, depending upon different venues. This and the other. It's something else we have to store.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get a projector first.
Right. Okay. That's fine. Right. Okay.
Okay, so we've done little picks. So we're still on you, John.
Right. Here we go.
Brackets, hanging baskets.
Oh yes. Nicholas found that she's had a quote for the repairs. It were in a junk box or somewhere like that, but she has found it and it has been. I don't know.
It's not on the agenda, is it?
Pardon?
So it's not on the agenda. We're not looking at a quote for it later.
No. It's
so to come back,
that's how much it'll be. That's send off, isn't it? It's just a repair. I don't know. Well, it's a replacement. I mean, we don't have to vote for it, do we? I don't know.
Well, if we're spending money, we'll have to vote as and when we see the quote.
Right.
We'll have to come next month or go.
So I'm looking at you. I can't see because I haven't got my glasses on, but I'll have a look now. Oh, there she is. So if we can get the, I've seen figures somewhere.
So it needs to go
Next agenda.
Go to the next agenda.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. That's just a replay. I mean, it's going to have to be done, but yeah, I see what you're saying. It needs to be approved officially.
Approved,
yeah. Okay.
And then is D yours? Did we just put this because it's green? The solar panels.
Yeah, because
Have we got an update?
we're still waiting for a meeting. So the chap said he'd come for a meeting, so I'm just waiting to hear back from him.
Do you want to elaborate for the other people in the room?
So the Yorkshire Electricity Services,
something like that.
Yeah. They said that they would do a feasibility study on the building to see if we can have solar panels. And so we've been liaising with him. He wanted some information about electricity usage, so I've sent him a few bills, and he said the next step would be a meeting on site for them to have a look. Because
he's, again, like everything else, he's worried about the roof, isn't he? Yeah.
So just waiting to hear back from him on that meeting.
And there were a couple of schemes, and one depending on how much you wanted to sort of generate, and then where did I see something about batteries? Where have I seen that? Oh, that was that Green and Clean, wasn't it? One about those batteries that you use. I thought there'd be massive things. They're just like nada stuff like that. But you don't have to have.
I'm assuming that's all part of the feasibility study.
Well, yeah, but I say you don't have to have batteries.
I'll chase him up tomorrow about
that.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's moving along very slowly, but it's coming along. Okay, so 22, 23, 161, SIL funding.
All gone. Right, just let me get a thing. Right, so we've spent 6,600-ish. I've had an email today to say that will, hopefully, that'll be going ahead next week. Okay. The next issue is the electricity to the bandstand. Now, where we're at with that, has everybody received the estimate? Right. Initially, we got a quote, an initial quote for 6,500 for putting. Should we be talking about this in this meeting?
I wouldn't say the money.
Right.
Well, no, you have.
We've got an initial. Well, it's
we've got an initial quote, and
it's sort of irrelevant. It's sort of irrelevant in the scheme of things. So then I got in touch with Bradford Council and got two more people off their what do you call it? Their list. Their list, yeah. And they came and I talked to them, and after a week I rung them up to see what was going to happen, and they said no can do. Chap at Bradford Council is looking into it, and he's going to produce a specification. He came on site, and then I got another letter from Bradford Council to say that the existing service wasn't adequate, and that it would be approximately 4,400 to get Northern Power Grid to come and put a main up to the point. When it's come, so I spoke to the fellow at Bradford Council, and he said the procedure is this: that I will get in touch with Northern Power Grid, they will come on site, they will assess the situation, and also I will get 3 quotes from people off our panel. And when it came back, the total was 17,234, I think. So I was aghast at this, and I went back to him and I said, how can this be? It should be about sort of 12,000. And he said, well, what it is, the route from nearest route would be getting involved with sort of Lidl, and there's about £4,000 worth of traffic management in it. So it's what he said. So that's where it comes to. Now, I still believe, so at the moment, we got, after this spend of 6,588, we remain with £11,731. Now, the quote is for, it's here, 17,343. So, that would be a shortfall of £5,612. Now, we have a budget for tourism and regeneration, which has only spent £600, I think it's £600, £900 out of a number of thousands. So I would like to propose to take it forward to full council that we should, via £5,612, and get this job done. The reason I'm saying that is because it's going to open so many opportunities to use the facility. At the moment, there's no electricity. I've been to a meeting tonight with Bingley Music Town. Basically, it were nothing about anything to do with this. It was more of a, I don't know how you describe it. The guy that came to Eldwick.
Dave Carpenter, yeah.
No, the man who came about. What they call that? Where I went to that training thing the other day. Bradford Council. People that sort grants and stuff out. Where you said the word.
Is it relevant?
Yeah. He was in the chair. He was doing a presentation. He was running the place tonight. Where you can facilitate stuff and help you with grants and all that sort of thing.
He came months ago.
That's the fella. Well, when he was there.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Ancestor grants thing.
Yeah, him. He was running the thing tonight with Dave Carpenter. So what I'm saying is, this is an investment for Bingley. We've got 11,700 in our money. We've got for nothing. So for £5,612, we can get electricity in the bandstand, and we can widen the genre from brass bands to anything. And that were mentioned tonight in passing regarding such things, having a festival or something like that. So I'd like to propose that we do that.
I have to say, I think that's extortionate. I think we're being price gouged by Bradford Council. It's a ridiculous sum of money for what we're trying to do.
I agree. However,
If not, sorry.
however, as John made the point, that won't be. We've got to put 5,000 odd towards it rather than the full amount. Now, whilst I agree that it's taken the mickey, that price is not going to go down from here.
Absolutely not.
It's only going to go up, and so I think that we need to act and do so with some urgency before it does, unfortunately.
The thing is that if it's Northern Power Grid, what can you do? You're saying it's Bradford Council, but it isn't Bradford Council, is it? It's actually...
Well, I don't know, because we started out with, all we needed to do was something that was going to cost about £4,000. It's just expanding and expanding and expanding exponentially.
We made the assumption that we could, and so did the electrician who I took there. It was the man who does Festival Lights, so that's the only chap I knew. He made the assumption that we're going to go from that box where the camera is across the thing. It only has to be done once, and it just seems a missed opportunity if we don't do it.
Anything that makes this building more secure.
No, it's not to do with it, Robert.
It's not to do with it.
It's to do with electric bandstand.
Mm.
I mean, 11,000 that we want spending.
Yeah, I've also got someone else that wants that money, but
I think you're missing an opportunity.
I agree. I think that it had massive value to the park. I think that it would be. It's a door that's closing. I would say that it is going to necessitate further spending potentially, because if we do have that all set up, given the bandstand is semi-regularly vandalised already, we would need to either get Bradford to install or part pay for CCTV to cover that area to at least deter any vandalism of it, because obviously we've got more important equipment there now and it's not just a landmark. But I agree with John, I think it adds a massive amount of value to the park. It's unfortunate it's that expensive, but that isn't going to change.
The other thing is that when I got a letter back from Bradford Council regarding the booking the band concerts, and they make a point that it can be difficult to get things without any electricity. Talk tonight, it appeared that most of the people there tonight were either the guitars or they're talking amplifiers and they were talking things like that, so that's where we are.
So what's your proposal then, John? Sorry.
I'm proposing that we do it, and it's an investment of Bingley, and it's there for.
Would that have to go to the full council?
It would have to, that sum of money is beyond our.
Oh yes, it's definitely.
Still has to go to full council, doesn't it?
And even if we find it out of another budget, it's beyond the remit of this committee.
Well, no, I mean, I did just put this to Eve whether it should come to this committee, but she said that if we could get it through here, it'd be an endorsement to go to full council. So. And I'm sort of excited about all the things because of the 2025 coming on and all the rest. There might even be money. There might even be more. There might be some money to. But I mean, we have it at the moment.
Something that I was going to sneak into an agenda item later, as in the next item, I think. I learnt this since the agenda came out, so that's why it's not got an item on in its own right. The community gift card. That money no longer needs to be ring-fenced. Baildon did not approve their involvement. They cited Shipley's lack of enthusiasm, which I think is unfortunate given the effort that, from what I can gather, Shipley extended to was sending out some emails, and that was it. So that protected £5,000 no longer needs to be protected. Shortfall here is a little over £5,000. So.
Well, the money's there in the money's there in the.
So your plan, John, sorry to interrupt, is to put it to the full council, yeah?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Saying. Well, I'll second it.
I'll
second that proposal to go to the full council.
Well, it's got to go to full council.
It would anyway, Andrew. I was just looking for approval in this committee. So
I'm with you.
I don't have an issue with it.
That's excellent. Right. Okay.
Well, I'm going to abstain.
Well, I can understand that, and I can understand that just basically on the money, but with. You know what these things are like about Northern Power Grid. You know better than anybody what Northern Power Grid and stuff like that. They wanted to put a service. They wanted to put a water service up my street for one house, and they wanted £40,000 for it. You know.
Well, I'm happy with it going to the full council because you have all the councillors putting their name to yes or no, and then no individual can be picked out. It was for them. It's for this. It's for that. He's against it. That's why I approve it.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Pass it. Yeah.
We'll move on. 22-23-162 risk management to identify any new or unacceptable levels of risk to council and amend the risk register accordingly. I don't think it's a risk, but it was where you were going to.
Yeah, I was going to sneak it in.
Sneak in your.
Not your chairs again, is
your news. No, just what he's just said about.
No, the community gift card.
Right.
So the reputational risk is not one that this council bears because this council backed it. So there you go. This is the context in which I snuck it in. So the perceived risk of us not going ahead with it, I don't see how that can materialise because we did everything that we could. It's the partner councils who I would.
And you have no appetite to bring it to us doing it by ourselves.
I don't have any belief that people
I wouldn't recommend it.
I don't have any belief that people would support it, and I don't have the time, so no.
Well, all I can say is well done for trying.
Yes, thank you.
Because if people don't try, nothing ever gets done.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no. You have put a lot of hard work into that. Thank you.
So, thank you, Lewis.
Thank you.
So 22-23-163 date next meeting, 8th March.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 22, 23, 164, exclusion of the press and public.
Propose, second.
Seconded, all in favour?
By the YouTube.